What's up, board game people? I'm running a little slow this week, but today the skies are clear, the winds are fair, and it's time to set sail on our next great adventure. Sea of Legends, Vengeance of the Empires is launched on Kickstarter this week and is already funded and knocking down those stretch goals. So join me as we quickly raid this campaign in search of board game gold. Please know that I do not get any money from game companies for making my videos. I make them for gamers like us to find new treasures within our hobby. If I get something wrong or we disagree about something, let's duel to the death in the comments. War amongst the great powers of Europe has engulfed the Americas, and now the powers are turning their eyes back to the colonies to fuel their efforts. But old powers have awoken from the briny depths. Tales of a haunted ship sailing the Caribbean, warnings of a great sea monster dragging ships into the depths. Times are changing. Will you sit idly by as the golden age of piracy comes to an end? Or will you marshal your crew, hold fast, and bring the fight to them in a bid to become legend? Vengeance of the Empires is the second expansion for Sea of Legends, which is a narrative-driven open-world game for 1 to 4 players. You will swashbuckle and swindle your way to the top, take control of a ship as the captain, build your crew, and grow your riches in any way possible. Your choices have consequences, though. They make waves across the Caribbean, and your tale is interwoven with everyone's at the table. Your fate may even lie in their hands. You'll all face off against one of the game's factions, seeking to make sure they don't achieve victory before one of you gain enough notoriety to win first. You'll pursue your own legend along the path of your captain's tale, your lover's tale, or the tale of your nemesis. Each turn you'll declare a challenge to fell mighty creatures from the depths, or visit a port, or go on an adventure, all in a bid to eventually gain notoriety. The first captain to gain 10 notoriety wins the day. Everything Sea of Legends is available through the campaign, so there's plenty of booty here to be had. Let's take a quick look at the pledge levels to get started. First, for $1, you can get access to the Pledge Manager and get the upgrade kit for backers of the first campaign, and the dollar will be applied to your shipping. At $100, you can dig up the Sea of Legends base game. At this level, you'll also get access to the stretch goals. For $75, you net the Vengeance of the Empires expansion. This will get you access to the stretch goals, but you will need the base game to be able to play. For $75, you can also choose the Rise of the Ancients expansion in case you missed it the first time it sailed. This will also get you access to the stretch goals. Or perhaps you need both expansions. Grab that for $140 and get a $10 discount with the stretch goals from this campaign. Finally, at $225, you can get the base game, both expansions, and the stretch goals. This has a $25 discount over buying everything individually. The campaign also has a collection of add-ons both big and small. First up at $40, you can get the Bob Kell Captain set of miniatures. These miniatures introduce 8 new captain sculpts to be played with. Each captain will receive their own card, but their abilities will mirror those of another captain from the game. For $30, you can get the neoprene mat, which will replace the game map from your core box and is 40% larger. This mat is 3mm thick with a sewn edge. For $25, you get 70 metal coins, and another $25 will get you 50 metal notoriety tokens. This project has a wonderful set of monetary stretch goals to be unlocked. We've already unlocked a few, and it seems the amounts are arbitrary and being adjusted to keep the goals rolling in. So far, 2 new crew cards, 2 new Tier 3 ship cards, and 4 Kraken Tentacle miniatures have been unlocked, with 5 new legendary crew members close on the horizon. There's shipping estimates on the page. These are 15% higher than the quotes today. They're overestimating here to hopefully quote more and charge less in the long run. The actual shipping will be calculated and charged in the Pledge Manager. It seems they're giving themselves plenty of time to have delays and still deliver on time. They estimate delivery for March of 2024, but hope to handily beat those dates. Either way, good on them for being realistic. This brings me to my thoughts and opinions on the project and game. Let's get the elephant in the room out front and center. The first release was a bit of a mess. The app wasn't ready for prime time, and they had quite a bit of trouble getting it patched up. The rulebook also greatly needed improvement. From what I can see, the rulebook has had quite a bit of the initial feedback taken into account. The components are listed in the beginning of the book and are now pictured, so no guessing what different components should be anymore. It seems the whole book has been restructured and made easier to reference. The biggest complaint I'll offer, at the risk of sounding like KOA, is that an index is really needed here. An index is your ultimate quick reference tool, and having it should prevent any trouble finding terms or rules in a pinch. This is also something that's usually done once the rulebook is completed, so that may be the reason for it not being present currently. Hopefully they plan to include one. So for the other original complaint, sadly I can't speak to whether the new V2 of the application solves all the problems, but I have gone through their Discord and read many updates about the restructuring and fixing of the app, and I can say that from a development standpoint, it sounds like they're on the right track. The inclusion of the captain's log seems like a wonderful fix for not remembering outcomes of events. You can just take a look back when you need to. I use this type of feature all the time in Mansions of Madness and in Descent. As for the bugs and general usability, they've been exhaustively testing the app, and I can only hope by the time it lands on our devices, it will have seen most of the minor and major kinks worked out. Overall, I think this incarnation of the app should be 100% more playable than the last. Let's look at the money a bit. I believe the core game is fair for everything offered. You're getting 4 captains, 5 factions, and everything you need to play the game in the box. Sure, the price is a bit up there, but we're talking a ton of minis that accompany the game. Some of these minis are huge, and all of them are well sculpted and convey the art style and the character of the captains and enemies very well. They perhaps lack a bit in texture, but they more than make up for it with the flavor they practically ooze. I am sure there are those who would love to see a standee version of the game for a lower price tag, but that just isn't in the cards. The expansions at first sight seem very steeply priced. At $75 an expansion, they're almost as expensive as the base game. It's with reasons though. Each expansion adds another 4 captains and 5 factions to play. They add another ton of miniatures, cards, and components. These expansions really expand your play options. You have so many more factions to play against with each one added in. You also gain new captains, each with their own story arc, and then you have a ton of lovers and nemesises to mix in. The combination of those 3 elements unlocks so many unique and interesting stories to play through that you'll be coming back to a new and exciting game each time you sit down to play. Add-ons here could get a bit expensive. I always love when the mat offered is bigger than the original game's board, so for me that's an easy grab. I also like the alternate sculpts. These are completely aesthetic. I just like that the sculpts break slightly from the original art style and that the captains are based off some amazing artwork. For most, you could easily pass on this and not miss a thing. As for the metal coins and tokens, $25 is just a little rich for my blood when I have stacks of metal coins sitting around. For me, I will find alternate upgrades. The factions in the game are what I think really keep play interesting. You'll play for the captain and lover stories, but your constant enemy will be the factions in play. Each faction changes up the way play progresses in mostly interesting ways. I think while the expansions are expensive, they're worth it because the extra factions, captains, and nemesis and lovers add to the possible scenarios you can encounter. The last thing this game still leaves me wanting is some sense of continuity from session to session. I guess I'll just have to continue my search for the epic narrative pirate campaign that stretches from session to session. In the meantime, though, this should more than scratch the itch for raiding and plundering. Hopefully this helps make heads or tails of the game and what's on offer during this campaign. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll see what I can find out. You can also keep the conversation going by joining our Discord. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing or leaving us a like. It helps our channel grow and reach more gamers like you. Thanks for watching and commenting, and play something fun tonight.